This week we have Mercury, planet of the mental realm, turning back to direct motion in Pisces, and Venus, planet of love and relationships, also turning back to direct motion in the sign of the fish. All of this, an empowered moment and more in my new intuitive energy forecast for the week of Monday, April 7th through Sunday, April 13th, 2025. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger from Sacred Soul Empowerment, here to do your weekly intuitive energy forecast. For this week, we're going to be using the Legacy of the Divine Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. That's going to be the main message for everyone. Your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Yin Yang Oracle deck by Stellara. Okay, so let's go ahead, and before we look at those stones of choice or talk about the astrology, we should settle in and do an empowered moment. So close your eyes and take a deep breath. As you exhale, you're letting go of all that your body, mind, and soul no longer needs in this moment. Visualizing golden white light of peace and healing and guidance all around you. And as you see or sense, feel, or just know that you're surrounded in that golden white light of unconditional love and compassion, I want you to take a deep breath and breathe it in deeply into every cell of your body. Let that golden white light clear away all lower vibrational energies and activate higher dimensional energies. And this week we do have a full moon in Libra, the sign of relationships and partnerships. And whether that be with a significant other, a family member, a friend, or even a partnership and relationship with yourself. Let's visualize ourselves on what we might call a seesaw or a teeter-totter. The old days when we had those in the playgrounds, where one person would get on one side and the other person would get on the other side, and you would go up and down, and it would be nice and balanced, because you had a person on either side. And as you visualize yourself on this seesaw or teeter-totter, the other side could be a person, a relationship in your life, or it could be a circumstance or a situation in your life, or it could be another aspect of yourself, your old feelings and emotions from another aspect of yourself, or old belief systems or mindsets of a different aspect of yourself. It could be your subconscious or unconscious self on the other side of that teeter-totter. And as you're going up and down in the movements of this seesaw or teeter-totter, which is all about balance and equality, let's focus in on the idea of that full moon in Libra, sign of relationships, partnerships, balance, harmony, equality, compromise, and cooperation. Full moons are about completion, healing, letting go. And so whatever's on the other side of that teeter-totter might represent something that you need to let go of, or an aspect of it that you need to let go of. Is there an unbalanced quality in a relationship in your life? Is there an imbalanced or disempowering feeling within your thoughts, your perceptions, your belief systems? Do you feel like your ego is doing all the work and your subconscious isn't holding up its end of healing? Or is it imbalanced with the higher soul self on the other side of that teeter-totter, beckoning you to move forward on a new path, activating aspects of yourself that would be leading you toward empowerment, and you on the other side of this teeter-totter are in fear or doubt? So as we look at what is imbalanced in our life or imbalanced within ourselves, and you're going through the motions of the up and down of this teeter-totter, this seesaw, imagine that the angels of the highest vibration of light, guides, master guides, and teachers of the highest vibration of light, your ancestors of the highest vibration of light, as you call them in, are assisting in bringing in a balancing energy to that motion of the up and down of the seesaw and teeter-totter. Magically, you on one end, and whatever situation or circumstance or person or relationship or aspect of yourself is on the other side of that teeter-totter or seesaw, is becoming balanced now. You're both suspended in the air in a perfect balance, in perfect unison, in perfect harmony. And asking your angels and guides, ancestors, asking that whatever needs to occur and happen to bring that balance into manifestation, ask them to show that to you, guide you to that solution, whisper the information in your ear. How do I bring balance to this relationship? How do I bring balance within myself regarding perspectives or beliefs that I might have about different situations in my life or relationships in my life? How do I bring a perfect balance to my waking, working life and my spiritual, intuitive, creative, and inspirational life? How do I balance my emotions, my thoughts? Ask your angels and guides, ask the healers of the light to bring in that healing, the magical solutions, the guidance that's needed to bring in that perfect balance that you're seeking in whatever area of your life it is needed. And taking in a deep conscious breath with the intention as you're breathing in, that you're breathing in the magical solutions, that you trust and have faith that your angels and guides are helping you. And as you exhale, you're letting go, surrendering with trust and faith that those of the highest vibration of light will assist you in bringing balance and harmony and peace to whatever area of your life that it's needed. And as you take one last deep healing, cleansing, and balancing breath and exhale, you can open your eyes and return to this time and place and space. And let's take a look at our stones of choice. So these are all special intention pendants, which you can find on my website, this and many more, so take a look. This first one is Ortho Cirrus Fossil. Ortho Cirrus Fossil. It's what is termed kind of like a cabochon. It's got a flat back, so it sits rather nicely against your skin if you were to wear that as a pendant. But this is a powerful stone. So the Orthoceras fossil, this one's wrapped in silver wire. It's Reiki charged with the vibration of master number 22. So the reduced energy of the 4, because 2 plus 2 is 4, that 4 energy is a connection to Earth Mother Gaia and the power of nature. Whereas the master number 22 aspect is a connection to the higher planes of existence and the ancient powers associated with those higher realms. This one also has infused into it the energies of Pluto, planet of transformation, transition, death, and rebirth, as well as connection to our Akashic records and our past lives, so we can learn from our past mistakes and move forward with positive growth on our path. This one also has the energies of our ancient ancestors of the highest vibration of light infused into it, including those ancient ancestors of Atlantis and Lemuria. Okay, so that's stone number 1. Stone number 2. This is snowflake obsidian. Another darker stone, but with snowflake energies there, the white snowflakes. This one's wire wrapped in silver wire as well. It's Reiki charged with the vibration of number 8, the number of strength, protection, and power, personal power. The qualities of Scorpio for empowerment, transformation, and transmuting lower energies. The element of Earth for grounding, security, and manifestation. This one has the energy of Archangel Michael infused into it, Archangel of psychic protection, and leading one to the next step of their highest destiny path. And then stone number 3 here, or pendant number 3. This is smoky quartz. This is a double terminated smoky quartz, which means it's got a point on the top and a point on the bottom, so the energies are flowing from both directions of this pendant. This one is wrapped actually in gold wire and Reiki charged with the vibration of master number 22, again, the number of the master builder and master manifester, as well as power and protection on all planes. The energies of Pluto, again, planet of transformation and transmutation of lower vibrational energies. This one has the activation of the crown chakra and the root chakra. Crown chakra for opening up to higher universal energies and bringing them down throughout all of the other chakras to ground them in the third dimensional earth plane, which is where that root chakra would be. And this one has the energy and guidance and assistance of Archangel Michael infused to it as well for protection, to clear away lower energies, as well as King Solomon. This is Ascended Master King Solomon for his powerful protection, divine magic, and space clearing. So again, our stones of choice are the Orthoceras fossil, the snowflake obsidian, which happens to be a little bit more gentle than a regular black obsidian by itself, because it's got those speckles of white in it. And then the double terminated smoky quartz. All right, so let's talk about the astrological energy for the week. We start out on Monday, the 7th of April. First with Venus, planet of love and relationships, as well as money and finances. Retrograde in Pisces, connecting with Saturn, the ruler of karmic lessons, the great teacher of karmic lessons and responsibility. So they're both in Pisces right now, which is the last sign of the zodiac. Saturn actually spends 2.5 years in each sign of the zodiac. So it's getting near its end of its traveling through that sign. Venus, however, doesn't spend as long in there, but she's been in there an extra long time because she went into a retrograde motion. She started her retrograde motion in the sign of Aries, but then she retrograded back into Pisces, whereas she already went through Pisces one time to begin with. So she retrograded back into that last sign of the zodiac to review old lessons, old relationship lessons, or lessons about money and finances, or lessons regarding her values or her sense of self-worth or self-value. Those are all things that Venus rules. So as she's been retrograde, and as she's still currently, as of Monday, the 7th of April, is retrograde, she's reviewing all of these things. She's wrapping up some spiritual lessons, especially with the connection to Saturn that's going on Monday. So, here again, Saturn brings these karmic lessons and Venus is crossing over that. So what lessons do we have regarding our resources, including money and finances, also including our energy and our time? Where do we give that away and not have proper boundaries? Because Saturn likes boundaries and Pisces, not so much. And where in relationships do we need to tie up some loose ends and bring something to closure? That could be an actual relationship, that could be patterns within the relationship itself, or patterns that you hold, old stories that you hold about relationship matters. So there's something that, again, is needing to be looked at. Saturn brings in some insecurity sometimes, so we might be feeling insecure as we're going through these karmic lessons of money and relationships and how we value ourselves. So there's something definitely to look at. And then also on Monday the 7th, Mercury, the planet that rules the mental realm, our thoughts, ideas, perceptions, communications, information, and messages, is turning back to direct motion at 26 degrees of Pisces. Now, Mercury also went through a retrograde cycle, just like Venus. They both went to almost the same degree in Aries before they both turned retrograde around the same time period, generally speaking. And they both retrograded back into Pisces. And now finally on Monday, the 7th of April, Mercury is turning back to direct motion at 26 degrees of Pisces. So what new things have you learned? What information has come in to try to clarify something for you? It still may be a little unclear because Pisces tends to sometimes have rose-colored glasses on and not see things clearly. But soon, later in this month of April, Mercury will go back into Aries, and then we'll probably have a lot more clarity at that point. But with Mercury kind of at a standstill, turning back to direct motion at 26 of Pisces, it's kind of not moving. It's kind of at this standstill. So we might feel a little mentally sluggish, a little mentally fatigued, a little mentally tired. Again, we're thinking about processing, reflecting, reviewing these things regarding our thoughts and perceptions, just like Venus retrograde is reviewing things about money and finances and relationships and love. So they're both kind of in a review phase right now. And Mercury, although it doesn't connect specifically with Saturn on Monday like Venus does, is still very close to Saturn. So again, there's these karmic lessons of old patterns. We don't need to look at that way anymore. We don't need to believe that anymore. We need to shift our perspective or perceptions about something. Again, receiving more signs and synchronicities from the universe regarding circumstances and situations that we might be going through as we try to, again, clear, purge, transmute, old energies, old stories, so that when they do both go into Aries, we'll be able to move forward into a new beginning, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. On Tuesday, the 8th of April, Venus, again, love, relationships, money, finances, still retrograde in Pisces, is in a positive sextile aspect to Uranus, planet of liberation, change, redirection, freedom. And so this is an opportunity, but we have to look for what's that opportunity? What opportunity is being presented to us? And then we have to take action on it in order for something to happen. Now, just because Venus is about love and relationships, as she sextiles Uranus, this could bring an opportunity for more freedom, could bring an opportunity to liberate yourself from a pattern or a situation, not just relationship-wise, but it could be, again, money, finances, or something else. These could be family relationships, friendship relationships as well. And, again, we have to make something happen with a sextile. So we can't just say, oh yeah, there's the opportunity, and then just sit back and do nothing. We have to say, oh, here's an opportunity for healing, or an opportunity to start a new project, or an opportunity to have a communication with somebody that's important to me and clear something up. And then we have to take some sort of action to make something happen. On Saturday the 12th, there's 3 things happening, and this is going to conclude our information, astrologically speaking, for the week. So first, on Saturday the 12th of April, we've got the sun, ruler of our ego, ruler of our expression, how we shine our light, currently in Aries, first sign of the zodiac, which rules independence and self-sufficiency and independence and take charge energy, but it's connecting with Chiron, the wounded healer. Chiron is bringing up wounds regarding our independence, regarding our sense of self, regarding our independence. If I didn't already say that, it's all about, again, this confidence and courage and take charge and initiation energy where there's wounds, like I don't feel like I can move forward, or there's something holding me back, or I'm lacking confidence, or something like that. But the sun is shining its light upon those wounds so that we can see them more clearly and perhaps have a little bit more confidence in how to move through them, since the sun is about confidence and expression, and it's in Aries, which is about confidence and boldness and taking charge. So I feel like this is an energy that, although it might be bringing up some wounds, it can help us to move through that. And then next on the agenda on Saturday is the full moon. So that Chiron sun aspect happens on the day of the full moon in the partnership sign of Libra, 23 degrees of Libra. So Libra, relationships, partnerships, equality, balance, harmony, compromise, cooperation. Libra can rule legal matters as well, okay? But there's something, again, coming to a head. The full moon activates our emotions. Our emotional buttons get pushed more easily. Something is coming towards a sense of completion or closure with the full moon in Libra. So I know we had the eclipses, the full moon lunar eclipse and the new moon solar eclipse last month in March. But I feel like this full moon in Libra is kind of bouncing off of those eclipses, bringing some sort of closure in regards to, romantic, friendship, business, family, relationships and partnerships. Or this could be about, again, being in partnership with yourself. Don't abandon yourself, right? Connect with yourself, connect with your higher self, and be in partnership with yourself, or be in partnership with the divine, creator, source, spirit, all that is. Know that you're not alone and you're not abandoned. There's a higher energy that is guiding you, forever guiding you. Or maybe it's a relationship with your angels and guides that this Libra full moon is bringing into play. So whatever it is, pay more attention to all of those different types of relationships and see where we can bring closure to something, where something can be emotionally highlighted for us so that we can have a better understanding of how to heal whatever it is going on. And then to round out the day on Saturday the 12th, we have Venus, ruler of love and relationships. And in fact, Venus rules Libra. So the ruling planet of this full moon on Saturday also is turning to direct motion at 24 degrees of Pisces on that day of the full moon. So this is a very big deal with the ruling planet of a particular full moon turning back to direct motion on the same day. She's being highlighted. In fact, she's in a lot of these things all week, right? On Monday, she's connecting with Saturn. On Tuesday, she's connecting with Uranus. And then on Saturday, she's the ruler of the full moon in Libra, and she's turning back to direct motion. So all of this energy regarding love and partnerships and relationships and affection and magnetism and receptivity and the divine feminine and resources and money and finances and time and energy and values and what we value and who we value and how we value ourselves is all being really highlighted right now. And since it's turning to direct motion at 24 degrees of Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, this is, again, a resolution of some sort. It's a completion on a karmic level of some sort, with both Mercury and Venus turning back to direct motion at 26 degrees of Pisces for Mercury and 24 degrees of Pisces for Venus. Last sign of the zodiac that rules past lives and karmic situations and the spiritual realm and things unseen or intangible, that now that they're both turning back to direct motion can be maybe a little bit more seen and tangible and understood, although it might not be until they actually both go into Aries where that will really take place. And again, both of these planets will move back into Aries later in this month of April. And then past that degree of where they both turned retrograde in Aries. So then they'll be both out of their shadows, and then things will become much more clear. So they might not be totally clear at the moment, but at least they're both now at the end of this week. They're both going to be in direct motion. Okay, let's take a look at the messages from our angels and guides. Okay, so the first card is the Nine of Swords. Now, the Suit of Swords is kind of a tricky one. There's only a couple of cards in the Suit of Swords that feel more positive, like the Ace of Swords, you know, a new beginning or clarity on a mental level. The Six of Swords is usually about moving forward a little bit more smoothly, you know, in regards to making a decision or just moving forward in life. But all the rest of the Swords cards can be a little tricky. And the Nine, it's almost to the end of the major arcana. There's one more minor arcana left after the Nine, and that's the 10. But in the Nine of Swords, we're getting close to the end of something. We're getting close to the completion of something on a mental body level, because the Swords suit is about our thoughts, our ideas, our perceptions, our perspectives, our belief systems. It can be about communication. The swords are about communication. It's all that mental realm stuff. But if you look at the imagery here, we have a woman. It looks like she's lying in bed, but her eyes are pretty much wide open. There's 9 swords coming down from like the ceiling or up above towards her. And swords with the point there, they can, you know, they can kind of cause some harm there, right? It's like, oh, there's some swords coming at me, you know? And there's also, and maybe you can't see it as well, but there's some like very kind of like spiritual, otherworldly sort of energies that are kind of interspersed amongst the swords. Again, this can be past life ways of thinking. These past life mental patterns could be addiction patterns, could be patterns of sadness, despair, doubt, fear. Okay. Or again, this can go to even a situation where she's lying awake at night, not able to sleep because she's mulling over, you know, these thoughts that she's having about a situation or circumstance in her life. She's feeling challenged by those thoughts. Did I make the right decision? Or I need to make a decision, but I don't know what direction to choose. You know, I have to have that communication with somebody, and it, you know, I really don't want to. So anything that has to do with, again, thoughts, ideas, perceptions, perspectives, and communications, messages. This could be like dream time messages where you're having, some purging, cleansing dreams, even bordering on maybe some nightmarish kinds of dreams, but it might be like that you're cleansing, again, old wounds out. But here again, she's kind of lying awake. She can't sleep. Her mind is racing. Her mind is going. She's thinking about whatever's going on in her life. And I feel like this is related to the Mercury and Venus, retrograde, but turning to direct motion in Pisces energy. And even Venus, planet of relationships, connecting with Saturn, ruler of karmic lessons. There is some things that are still happening, occurring, even after these eclipses that we had in March, last month. So we're still trying to clear something up. And again, she's got a lot on her mind and a lot kind of transpiring here that's coming at her from a mental body perspective. So she's having a little bit of difficulty here as she's moving through this. But let's see what the next card is. Maybe it'll give us or provide us with more clarity as we move throughout the week about how to take care of this or what to do about this or what's going to happen next. Okay, the next card is actually Major Arcana 13. This is the Death card. So this is kind of what's coming next. We're going to have a death and rebirth. Now, this is metaphoric, right? Death and rebirth, transformation and regeneration, transition and renewal. We're moving through something. Again, it's a clearing. The Death card is usually metaphoric for an internal transformation and clearing and purging process that we're going through. We're releasing and letting go of something, releasing and letting go of of an old situation or circumstance, releasing and letting go of old patterns. That could include addiction types of patterns. This is, we can see here that we've got the person on the horse. The horse is kind of bucking up and it almost looks like it's getting ready to gallop forward, right? So we are getting ready to move through something. We are moving through something. We are moving forward, but we might be in the midst of some challenge here, according to these first two cards. Now, usually the Death card is more of an internal transformation than it is an external transformation. Maybe we need to go through the internal transformation before these circumstances shift or change or redirect externally. Maybe that's coming the next week or the week after. Or, again, the end of this week we have the full moon, so that would stand to reason, because after the full moon, the moon starts to wane. And when the moon starts to wane, that's the releasing phase, the letting go phase. So it looks, there's a lot of kind of, almost looks like some chaotic energies there, right? We've got like a skull, we've got like a spider and or a scorpion, or I don't know, something going on up there by the skull. We've got, I don't know, bats, birds, I don't know what's going on there, these branches. There's, a shadowy kind of feeling here. So things may still be in the shadows, ready to be illuminated, but maybe not fully illuminated for you to really understand and move through the transformation that you need to, although you are going to, because there is this kind of plant at the bottom. It's some sort of plant or the budding of a tree or something like that, and it's green. It is full of life and vitality, whereas everything else in this card looks a little like sketchy, right? But we've got something down here at the bottom that's poking out of the ground and starting to grow. So we are going to have some sort of new growth. This is soul growth. This is soul growth and evolution that's coming in for us. Okay, you have to be confident to work through the energies, the healing, the situations, whatever's coming up. And I just noticed and recognized that this skull is wearing a chain around its neck, and there's a pendant that's coming down from the chain. The pendant is of the glyph Pluto. Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth and transformation and change. So the skull is wearing the pendant of Pluto, which falls over this kind of knight, if you will. We could call it the angel of death, but that's a little bit dramatic. But again, there's something coming in to clear away something. And what comes after, a clearing or a releasing or a letting go is a rebirth. So we're getting close to a rebirth, but first we're still with these couple of planets, Mercury and Venus, just having turned to direct motion with the full moon in Libra. We're still in kind of a clearing phase, a transformational phase right now. Let's look at the last card. Oh, the last card. This is Major Arcana 11, and this is the Justice card. This is a really good card, and this is about the scales of justice coming into balance, just like we did the teeter-totter seesaw meditation earlier, right, in this video. This is the scales being in balance, and these scales are absolutely in balance. Sometimes we see scales that are out of balance. I'm trying to see where the other side of the scale is, but anyway, both women are, although they're wearing different colors, they're balanced. We got white crown chakra color. We've got kind of an indigo blue third eye chakra color. So something is becoming clear, right? We're starting to have the clarity of vision that we need. We're starting to get the downloads in the crown chakra of the understanding of the wisdom and knowledge that we need regarding these karmic lessons, these karmic challenges, these karmic situations that we're moving through, whether they play out with other people or whether they play out in a situation, or whether they're just playing out within ourselves and our own stories. But definitely there's something that is realigning itself in a positive way. And sometimes with the Justice card, sometimes we have the hand of spirit or God or universe, however you want to term that energy, is coming in to help us rebalance the scales. Sometimes that means that, like, if we're lacking and taking the action to make the changes that are in our higher soul self's best interest, our soul's best interest, sometimes, although we have free will And sometimes we make free will choices to maybe stay in a certain situation or a certain mindset or a pattern or whatnot. Or again, maybe we make a free will decision to stay in a relationship or a work situation or whatever it might be. But sometimes the energy of our soul's destiny path is so strong, our higher soul self is really in there to say, we need to realign you. We need to realign you now to move forward where it is that you're supposed to move forward towards. Whatever it is you're supposed to move towards, we're going to help you, in other words. So sometimes it feels like there's a fated event or occurrence. Sometimes we get redirected. We get picked up and placed somewhere else. That something just kind of happens to where it's rebalancing the scales of justice or the scales of karmic justice for us. So that could also be how this is playing out or working out for you. All right, so now let's take a look at the special message card depending on your stone of choice. And I chose the Yin Yang Oracle deck because there was such an emphasis on Venus. And this is one of the decks that I use when I do readings for people if they have relationship questions. So it doesn't mean that the card that you're going to get based on your stone of choice is only and solely about relationship. Could be about other things for sure as well. But I just wanted to let you know that this is kind of a relationship deck sort of guidance thing. I don't even know what I'm saying. Okay, let's close our eyes. The first stone of choice was the Orthoceras Fossil. Orthoceras Fossil. Message for the week. This one's sticking out. Okay. And this one is, now some of them are more colorful than this, but this is air, the suit of air, which is like the suit of swords, which rules the mental realm, the mind, thoughts, ideas, perceptions, communications. And it does say ace, and so it is like the ace of swords or the ace of air. So there's newfound clarity here. There's newfound clarity, a new way of thinking, a new way of perceiving, a new way of how you're communicating with other people or even communicating within yourself, to yourself. And then at the bottom, it lists all the air signs. It lists Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. This is all the air signs. So this could mean that you're needing to communicate with, collaborate with, network with someone who is an air sign, a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius. Maybe you're a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius. Or it's just listing those air signs so that you know this is all about the mental realm. This is all about, again, what's going on up here. The perceptions, the perspectives. It's also about messages and information coming into you. That's what's happening for you, Orthoceras people, for this week. Let's put that back in the deck in case somebody else gets it. This is a pretty big deck though, so it's probably not likely. It's almost as big as a tarot deck. I never really counted the number of cards in here. I should. So the next stone of choice is the Snowflake Obsidian. Snowflake Obsidian people for this week. What is their special message? Snowflake Obsidian. This one's actually calling my attention. Ooh, cycles, completion. Cycles is at the top, completion is at the bottom. In the middle, we have change. This is like death and rebirth. This is like Pluto energy. So we are going through some sort of cycle of change and completion, just like we talked about with Mercury and Venus being in Pisces. This might have something to do with throat chakra and speaking your truth, as that butterfly is kind of over the mouth, right? Now, some people have looked at this card before when I pulled it in other videos, and they've said, I don't like how the butterfly is stopping her from talking. It's over the mouth. But remember, butterflies are about transformation. Transformation, change, and new birth. You're spreading your wings, basically, in a creative self-expression. So I feel like whatever has been going on with the throat chakra, maybe you haven't been able to speak your truth or you've been afraid to have that communication or conversation. But the butterfly to me is indicating change. It's opening something up. You're going to be able to have that conversation, that communication. You are going to be able to speak your truth. And this could also be for people that are in some sort of career or life purpose path where it's having to do with speaking, teaching, writing, blogging, sharing information. Something new is being born. Something is going to be coming out and being expressed by you. Okay, so that butterfly to me is a really, really good kind of omen, if you will. But again, cycles are coming to completion. Could be in work, career, could be in money, finance, could be in home, family, could be in relationship, could be just, again, within yourself. But there's things that are coming to completion. And then the last stone of choice was the double terminated smoky quartz. Okay, this one wants to come out, so we'll just pull it. This one is present, and it says in the middle, abundant, and at the bottom, gratitude. So basically, in a nutshell, the message is to be in the present moment. Don't dwell on the past, although move through the past and heal the past, but don't dwell on it. Don't get caught up in it. Don't get stuck in it. And don't jump too far ahead into the future. Don't feel like, you have to have all the answers for the next, year. It's best right now to be in the present moment, especially because we still have those, couple of planets there. Well, if you add Saturn in Pisces, there's 3 planets in Pisces this week. So we're still kind of caught in that energy of, again, moving through some sort of cycle of completion, like the previous card said. So it's not quite time for action yet, although the middle word says abundance. But if we're gonna find that more abundance, prosperous energy in the present moment. If we have gratitude for what we have right now, if we have gratitude for lessons learned, if we have gratitude for what gifts we've gained through this circumstance or that situation or that relationship, having the gratitude and the appreciation for your soul moving through something, or again, gaining experience. So be in the present moment. Don't jump too far ahead or dwell in the past. Be in gratitude and appreciation for where you're at. That's going to be where the abundance and prosperity comes in for you this week. Now, the abundance and prosperity might not be financial. Maybe it will be. But the abundance and prosperity could be, again, new gifts and talents opening up within you, new things being activated within you. It could be new ideas coming in. The abundance and prosperity could be new friends. Maybe it is a new job, but maybe it's just, again, a new way of being in yourself, with yourself, in relationship with yourself, that you're more grateful for who you are. All right, everybody, that was a little longer than normal, but thank you so much for hanging in there. I send you lots of love and light. Don't forget to watch the monthly, okay? If you haven't watched the monthly for April, it's on my YouTube channel. And sending you lots of blessings for this week, and I will see you again next week. Namaste, everyone. Bye-bye.